It is March. It's the 10th of March to be more specific, which means just one thing: March, April, May. And that means that if you are a GCSE or A-level student, you have almost 3 months, just under 3 months left for your exams. Now, I don't want you to panic, and I think this video is here to help you. It's here to help you think about ways in which you can try to enhance what you're already doing. And if you haven't started, that's also okay. This video is here to remind you and give you tips from someone who has been through it myself, is also a teacher, is an academic, has a PhD, and also a mother, and also a sister of someone who's currently in year 11 as well. So these are tips that I would give someone that I know, a family, a friend, or a student. And so these are really important things that you need to consider when thinking about how you're going to spend the next 2 months, the next 3 months of your life, of your, the last couple months of your revision schedule, and how much of a difference they're going to make to the rest of your life. So let's go through the tips. To introduce myself, my name is Amina. If you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to see more content from me. I talk about all things academia, all things education. I also sprinkle some productivity, some motherhood in here as well. So do subscribe to see more from me on this channel. So the first thing is thinking about mocks and thinking about what you have done so far. Now, if you are in year 11 or if you are in year 13, year 12, you most likely have just finished a set of mocks. You might have had mocks just after Christmas or just before Christmas, but you definitely should have had some sort of formal testing to see where you are at currently. Now, this is your best opportunity to see sort of what you're lacking at, what you feel slightly weaker at, where your gaps in knowledge are, and sort of how you could do better and where you could do better. Now, it's you're taking so many different subjects in one go. So it's really hard to pinpoint, what specific subjects it is that you don't feel great at, or which subjects you don't do well in exam. Because don't forget, you could absolutely love history, but when it comes to actually writing an exam paper, you could really struggle, and that is what mocks are there for. They're there to help your teachers identify what you're weak at, and they're also there to help you identify what you're weak at. And so use them as the best opportunity, really. Use them in the way that you find best. So what I would do is when I get my mock results, I'll take a look at them and say, right, I didn't do as well as expected in maths. And just reflect upon that initially. Think to yourself, well, I didn't revise that much, so that's probably why. Or I did revise so much, I don't understand why I didn't get that grade. Think about how you're revising. Are you revising by just reading your exam notes? And think about whether or not you have approached anyone to help you in the past. Now, this takes me on to my next point, which is using exam questions only. So at this point now, like I said, it's March, we should really be focusing solely on exam practice. So thinking about topics that you are weak at from your mocks, thinking about topics that are going to come up in the exam. And I know this year is quite different to previous years, and I've done videos like this in previous years, and we've talked about topic lists and things like that. Whereas this year, the exams, they're slightly different, where you've been given what topics are actually going to come up in the exams. And I'll leave a link down below for a couple videos that summarize these topics. But make sure that you are aware of what topics are coming up, and then use different websites and different resources to focus on those topics alone. So for example, in maths, you've got websites like Maths Genie, and these websites break down exam questions within topics. So if you know that simultaneous equations are going to come up in your exams and you feel like you're not getting good grades on those particular topics, then go and just focus on that specific topic. Look at exam questions, look at 100 exam questions of that topic and master it until you're able to complete simultaneous equations, get them correct in every different way that you may find in exams. So that is the best way possible, just using exam questions, understanding what exam questions look like, the way that it's written, what topic you need to draw out to be able to answer that question. Especially now with the exam questions, past couple of years, they've been quite sort of multidisciplinary. So it's not just simultaneous equations, they will have equations, fractions, percentages, all in the same question. So it's about you knowing what information it is that you need to pull out from your knowledge, and that the only way you can do that is by actually practicing questions themselves. The next tip I can give you, and again this links into what I was just saying, is making yourself a revision timetable or a revision schedule. Now, just to start off, the best tip I can give you is try to mimic the timetable you have at school. So Easter is coming up not too long from now, in a couple of weeks, so you'll have 3 weeks off. In that time, you may think to yourself, right, I need to give myself an exam timetable. That is correct. How do you do that? How do you fit in your revision within a set amount of time? Well, if you're confident enough to make yourself a revision timetable, go ahead and do it. If not, mimicking your school timetable is a really, really good tip, and it's advice that I always give. Why? Well, the way that your school timetable is set out reflects how much the percentages of your exams are worth. So for example, your maths exam or your English or your science exams, they are worth a lot more, just because when you go into the workplace, when you go into uni, when you in the future, maths, English and science are really, really important subjects. And so you probably have maths, English and science once a day at school, if not at least 4 or 5 times in a week. So that will be on your timetable every single day, right? And then something like history or geography, where it's worth 1 GCSE or half a GCSE or whatever it is, then you might only have it 2 times a week rather than every single day. And so that reflection should kind of be the same with your revision schedule. And so what I would say to start off with, and you can always change this up, is reflecting your school timetable at home, and then you can always extend it. So if your school hours are between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m, you can follow that timetable, and then after 3 p.m. you can just do something else. So continuing on with whatever it is you want to do. And then going into each subject, if you have history, let's say 2 times a week, then you need to decide what topic it is that you want to revise during those times. So if there's different modules, if there's different topics, if there's different parts of the subject that you feel weaker at, then you can focus on those in particular. Or you can just say to yourself, complete 1 exam paper in that 1 hour or that 1.5 hours. And so that's really important, because it means that you're able to get the variety of subjects that you can revise. Otherwise, what I find is students tend to focus too much on the subjects that they find really difficult or that they enjoy, and they will end up doing only maths all week or only science all week, and you've neglected 5 or 6 other subjects, which of course you shouldn't. So that's my top tip when it comes to revision during the Easter holidays or during like a weekend or something. My next tip, and this is one that I give to anyone really, A-level, GCSE, university student, grown adult, mother, father, is sort out your sleeping habits. The biggest cause of sickness, of bad health, of even things like weight gain is a result of bad sleeping habits. Now, if we're sleeping late, if we're looking at our phone before we sleep, if we're waking up too late, if we've got broken sleep, all of these things can really badly impact your mind, your physical health, your mental health, your body. And if your body and your mental health and your brain isn't working at optimum, then it's really hard for you to study and to have that focus and that flow. And that's why for me, like when I think about how I'm feeling that week, and if I'm feeling a bit low or if I'm feeling a little bit stressed, usually I haven't slept much. For me, it's a bit hard to sleep. I've got 2 babies, so that's fine. But then I don't have exams, so it's okay. But if you are someone who is sitting exams and you're someone who has to have focus and has to try to memorize and has to try to learn and actually use your brain, sleep is the most important thing. And in fact, it should have been the first thing that I said. So what I want you to do is just reflect. When you finish this video, just reflect and ask yourself, how have I been sleeping in the past week? Just ask yourself what your sleep has looked like the past week. Have you slept at the same time every day? Have you woken up multiple times during the night? Have you woken up really late in the morning, went to sleep really late at night? And think about the reasons why. Are you just on your phone? Are you watching TikToks? Are you talking to a friend? Or what is the reason why you're sleeping late, and why is your sleep so disrupted? Once you sort that out, and by the way, you can sort it out in a couple of days. It doesn't take very long. Just having one really busy day, working out, exhausting yourself, and then sleeping at a good time, and then waking up early the next day, that can already just fix your schedule within 1 or 2 days. So really think about it, really consider it. I don't hear teachers and people telling students enough to sort out their sleep. That is the first and most important thing that you can do to help you with the next 2-3 months. The next tip I can give you at this particular stage is to plan your Easter holidays. Now, I just mentioned previously to plan the schedule, have a little timetable, things like that. But what I mean is to plan it out more specifically. So a timetable is great, but if you have nothing to do during that time, if you have no science work to do, if you have no maths, history work to do, then it's a waste of time. Plan it out now. Think about if your school are offering any holiday sessions, any revision sessions during the holidays. You don't have to go to all of them, contrary to popular belief. If your teachers ask you to go, it's nothing is compulsory upon you if it's outside of school hours, but do make sure that you are planning appropriately. So if you feel like, well, actually I don't need that session for whatever reason, then make sure that you are using that time to do something else, or to do something that is more beneficial to you, right? It is not a social club. What I find sometimes is that Easter holiday lessons and all these revision sessions are like social clubs. It's not. This is valuable time that you should be using to help you. So if you find that that session isn't helpful for you, you don't need it, then it's better for you not to attend it. But do make sure you are not wasting your time and you're doing something better during that time. So to be more specific, you want to try and get as many past papers as possible. So download them on your laptop or wherever it is that you study, print them out, ask your teachers for resources, think about what specific topics you're going to be focusing on during that time, and just have a bit of a rough plan as to what specifically you are going to be doing during that time. So on Monday the 12th of March, I'm going to be focusing on paper 1 maths calculator, whatever, and that's what I'm focusing on. And then afterwards I'm going to mark it, fine. And then on Tuesday for maths, I'm going to be focusing on the issues that I had with paper 1, and then on Wednesday I'm going to be focusing on paper 2, and like being really specific. So as soon as you start your lesson or that revision timetable, you know what you're doing. You're not just sitting down and you're thinking, right, I have to do history right now, what should I do? Half an hour's gone. That is the worst waste of time, and you just end up kind of just feeling crap about yourself, and you just won't really find that you're being very productive. And almost at the end now, one of my last tips is to condense all your information into one place. So having all the revision, like if you have formulas, if you have things that you need to memorize, definitions, quotes, things like that, try to have it all in one place so it's not all scattered. Now, I'm not saying to go and get loads of flashcards and start to make them now. It's not really a good use of time to do that now. But if you do have some formulas that you want to write down and keep them in one place, it could be handy to do that right now. So let's say for physics, there's a few formulas that you need to memorize, then just get a flashcard, put them all on 1 or 2 flashcards, and just walk around with those flashcards. When you're going on the bus, when you're going to work, when you're going to school even, any time you're just walking around in the house, look at those flashcards. So they're all in one place. So when you're saying to yourself, right, what is that formula I need? You've got that one particular flashcard, you've got that one sheet of paper that has all the quotes from that book that you're reading, from the anthology, from the literature, whatever it is, make it all as condensed as possible. So when you are going to revise or going to look for some exam questions and trying to find the answers, it's all sort of in one place. And my last tip is to listen to advice. I know that we, especially at you guys' age, this is not me being patronizing, I've been there as well, we think we know everything. Genuinely, I, at 16, thought I knew better than my teachers, better than my parents, and we don't. Like, we really don't. And I think that's the most important thing. If your teacher's telling you this is what you should be doing right now, come to this session, do this, don't do this, it's worthwhile listening to it. Even if you're not, you don't like that teacher, you don't like your parents, whatever it is, right? Just remember that they've got your best interests at heart. And so for the next literally 2 to 3 months, just put your ego aside and put all your feelings aside for whoever or whatever, and just focus, because what it means is that you will have hopefully the best next 2-3 months. You'll work really hard. It will be tough, it won't be easy, but when you get your results on results day, you'll feel grateful that you took that advice from your teacher. You'll feel grateful that you listened to those who've been there, who've done it before you, and you won't have that regret, because it's not necessary. Like, on YouTube, you just have to Google how I got all A's, how I got all A stars, how I got all 9s, and learn from those that have done it before you. Learn from the teachers that know how you can get that grade, and actually listen to advice and don't be stubborn. The biggest downfall that I find for my students is that those that listen do really well. Even if they're not the top students, they'll do really well because they listened. And those that don't listen, and those that think, oh, it's fine, no big deal, whatever, they don't do well and they regret it later, and they always say, oh miss, I wish I listened, I wish I did this. And you don't have to be that person. So take advice, listen to advice, and just close your eyes, just get on with it for the next 2-3 months, and you'll find that you'll thank yourself, your future self would be grateful for listening to people that are around you who are trying to help you. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, this is not a video to make you panic or to make you think, oh my god, I don't have much time left, but it is a video that is meant to wake you up and to make you stand up and to make you think, I can do better, I want to reach my full potential, and this is how I'm going to do it. And to put your foot down. It's March the 10th. You have, like I said, a couple months left, not very long. Put your foot down to make yourself proud, essentially. So I hope this helps. Let me know what you are going to do from now onwards. Let me know what your action plan is from this point onwards, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe to see more from me, and don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you want to see. If specifically, I can more than welcome to do a couple of videos, even if it's shorts videos. I'm more than happy to do those for you, so let me know what you want to see, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.